Well, the weekend is coming to an end, but that doesn't mean I cannot stop reviewing some great wrestling reviews going on for you guys. So today we're just going to do two of them. The first one is from Absolute Intense Wrestling, or AIW, where we feature all three championships on the line at nearly the end of the show, but there's some interesting matches that took place. We're also going to cover the collaboration between Japanese promotions DDT Pro Wrestling and Big Japan Pro Wrestling with their annual shuffle tournament. I forgot what they call it. Basically, you got wrestlers from different promotions, not only just with Big Japan and DDT. Some come from uh, Bazara to AW and many others. I think we have about four teams, no, 8 teams that are involved in this. Only one walks out of the shuffle. And I think we're also going to have some news updates regarding of certain things. We have some things happening for WrestleCon this year with not only with the guests but also interesting information for all you Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling fans out there. A statement coming from founder of Marvelous uh, over Takumi Iroha and many other things. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, now as you all know, I now finished with the remaining wrestling events of 2022. Now we can later on proceed, but we're going to focus on the last two I've got. The first one we're going to do right now is Absolute Intense Wrestling, uh, Jet Black New Year. This one took place on the 30th of December. So let's get started with that one right now. Our opening match is a four-way tag match. We have the other main event group, no, not the one we seen in House of Glory. That one is led by Duke Davis, Gannon Jones. They take on Money Shot, consistent of Zach Nostrom and Elijah Dean versus Bang Bros, August Mathers, and Davey Bang, and of course members only's Malcolm Cambridge and uh, Calvin G. Lewis. Now, I have heard of the this main event group. They are a little more different than because the one we know from House of Glory is called main event. This one's called the main event. So that there's a difference. But I was impressed by this match, especially with the main event in this particular match because they put Davy Bang in the midair and they caught him. They put it. He was put in a German suplex right away. The moment that gave the opportunity for the main event to pick up the win. I wouldn't be surprised if they will be in tag team title consistency. That's something that could be expected. Now, our next match, we have Brian Myers versus Wes Barkley. Now, from my understanding, Brian Myers and, of course, his buddy, we all know very well, Matt Cardona has caused a lot of problems with Barkley. So you can guess in this particular match that Brian Myers would try to cheat his way through because he claims he is the most professional wrestler. Well, let's see how that happens, but it did not work out the way he hoped for. He got in a very interesting ending with a frog splash by Wes Barkley, giving him a perfect win. But the obvious question is, what will Mal Cardona do now that his boy lost the match? Well, we'll probably wait and see. Next match, we have PME, which is the Philly Moreno Experience. Philly Collins, Marino 10 Glenn. they take on the Euthanasia, Matt Cross and Josh Prohibition. This match seemed like it could have gone in the favor of Euthanasia, but however, things got out of little proportion. Something that Marino had in his hand that was handed over to him, and he used it on to Prohibition to in order to win the match. However, in the post match, Matt Cross was not a happy camper. Basically, he saw what happened. The fans even told him. So, looks more like they're asking for an actual street fight. I don't know what PME will say, but if they don't take it, then they're cowards to be exact. But I'll follow up on this one. Next up, we have Tom Lawler taking on Sean Mason. I thought this match was pretty much all technical aspect on this one. To not to mention with the submission and all that, you probably would have thought, but it taken a lot of anything for Mason to ensure he try to pick up a good win against Filthy, but no, Filthy pick up the win by applying a hammerlock driver onto him, and that gave him the win. Next up, we have Matthew Justice along with Bill Alfonso taking on the bad boy, Joey Janela. So this was a very interesting match, but Joey Janela, being the bad boy and all, he took out Bill Alfonso because he was the X factor in this match. But I have to say, this match was so intense, so brutal. Anything could happen. Keep in mind, Matthew Justice is a one-man militia. He brings out all the toys, and that's exactly what he did. But he did put Joey Janela in a Death Valley driver through the guardrail, and boom, won the match just like that. Next up, we got a 6-man scramble match. We have, excuse me, Swoggle versus Sam Holloway versus Jeffrey John versus Austin James versus Chase Oliver and versus Jocelyn Navarro. Now, you know how these scramble matches work. Anything could happen. Anything could change. However, this match went into the home field advantage from my understanding with Sam Holloway, since he is native to this area where we're throwing their show, and allowing the win. So that was pretty cool. So basically, Sam Holloway picked up the win by choke slamming Jeffrey John, and it was over right from there. Now our next match is the AIW tag team titles. We have the Bitcoin Boys, consistent of Mikey Montgomery and Eric Tello or Tanglo. They take on they're being accompanied by the Duke, a real piece of garbage. And of course, we have the Burning Season, consistent of Chuck Stone and Arthur MacArthur, the champions. Now, this match kind of went intense when that piece of garbage, the Duke, pulled the ref in order to ensure that the Bitcoin Boys pick up the win. It took a lot of effort to do that. However, while the what is it? The bulking season were distracted. What's his name? Chuck Stone got his knees taken out completely, and it was like a complete disaster. He couldn't pull through until they were able to pin him 1, 2, 3 and become our brand new tag team champions. Now, our next match is the AIW Intense Championship. We have Kaplan versus Derek Dillinger. This match, okay. Not to mention Dillinger has his sidekick, Ziggy Haim, and Ziggy Haim tried to get involved, but it did not work. But in the end, when the ref did not look, Dillinger used a belt against him and knocked him out cold in order to retain the title. Now, our main event is the AIW Absolute title, which is the top title between Isaiah Broner and Joshua Bishop. I thought this match was also intense in every way form, but it was, of course, Bishop with a razor's edge on top of the table that allowed him to retain the title. But however, He even decided to issue an open challenge against anybody who would challenge him for the belt. The first person that responded was none other than Tom Filthy Lawler. He accepted, and of course, he headbutted him. So this thing is going to go intensify. So I think it's going to be it for now with AIW. I believe it's time to move on with Big Japan Pro Wrestling and DDT Pro Wrestling. Okay, so let's do Big Japan Pro Wrestling and DDT with New Year's Eve Wrestling 2023. Now, this was the final show of 2022. Now, I have seen this show before last year where they have people from both DDT and Big Japan Pro Wrestling interactive in a shuffle six-man tag team match. They called it, I believe, the Toshi Waru Ware Shuffle six-man tag team tournament. So basically, you have wrestlers from not only with DDT and Big Japan, some wrestlers are coming from 208, 2AW, or freelancers that we normally see in certain independent promotions. So basically, they do that. So I didn't know how the teaming of these teams. So I think we have four matches. That means 8 teams, and for the first round, two matches with four teams in the semi, and then of course the finals, which is just one match. But they do have other regular matches that took place. So let's talk about those at the moment. So our opening match, we have Yuko Miyamoto teaming up with Yuya Aoki and Mao taking on Yukio Naya, Hideyoshi Kamitani, and of course Kikutaro. Now, Kikutaro is the one person everybody has to watch out for because he's up to his old dirty tricks as always. But what I did like how they managed to blind him. But what Kikutaro messed up is that he blinded both his teammates, Naya and Kamitani. But that gave, of course, the opportunity for Naya and Kamitani to accidentally choke slam him, giving what's his name Mao the chance to pin him without realizing what just transpired. I don't think Naya and Kamitani had any idea what just they caused. So that kind of went down south for them. So um Aoki, who else? Miyamoto and Mao, they advance into the next round. Now our next match we have Kota Sekifuda Mus- uh, Musashi from Michinoku Pro Wrestling, and of course the top champion of DDT, Kazusuda Iguchi, taking on Hasami Kodoka from Bazara, Chris Brooks, and of course Daisuke Sekimoto. Now, this particular match, I did not expect how the outcome. It just went straight to a 10-minute draw. However, they had this interesting rule where there has to be a tiebreaker. So a tiebreaker. So basically, what they did, they restart the match, but they have to finish the match with a one count only. Now we always seen they do three counts, but whoever gets the one count is the winner. So this one's a much faster paced match, and I'm like, oh, damn, the suspense killing me. But in the end, it was Iguchi who pinned Chris Brooks, giving them the chance to win and head to the next round of the tournament. Next match, we have Brahman Kai with Yasufumi Nakanoe and Tetsuya Endo taking on Daichi Hashimoto, Yuki Onoi, and Yuma Aoyagi from All Japan. I thought this was a pretty good match. I thought it was a lot more interesting. Um, but I think the biggest thing that took place was, of course, is when Aoyagi pulled up a big roll up onto Braham Kai in order for them to win. I'm sure the Brahman brothers are not too pleased that they lost, but they at least had a little fun because earlier they were giving fans some spray on their hands because the still the COVID restrictions and all that stuff. But yeah, it was pretty good. So they advanced in the next round. Now our last match in the first round We have um, Masake Masada, Takuya Nomari, and Masato Tanaka taking on Yuki Ishikawa, Masashi Takeda, and Harashima. I thought this match was okay, not too much big, but in the end, it was, of course, Takeda who picked up the win by pinning the young boy himself, Masada, and boom, it ended right there. So they advanced into the next round. Now, as you know, they took a little break with this tournament, so they gave a normal, standard, regular match. We have an 8-man tag match. We have Kazuki Irada, Antonio Honda, Shubna Katsumata, and Dan Shiko. They take on Kendakura Hoshino, Jaki Numazawa, Roos Ichijo, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend in deathmatch wrestling, Abdullah Kobayashi. So this was like a battle between both DDT and um, Big Japan. So if you guys ever seen that, you can tell because I've seen many of these guys from the first team I know they're primarily from DDT, second team primarily with Big Japan. So it was a pretty good match. I did like it. But in the end, it was of course a frog splash by Ito who picked it up onto Irada to give them the win. Now our semifinal match, we have Yuya Aoki, Yuko uh, Miyamoto, and of course Mao taking on Katsusada Iguchi, Musashi, and Kota Sekufuda. I thought this match was pretty good. It was very impressive, but I think the biggest thing was, of course, when Aoki was the one who picked up the win with a somewhat new modified version of the landslide that he did on Sekifuda. And I think Sekifuda was livid. He couldn't believe it that he lost by in a modified version of the landslide when he got pinned. So they advanced into the finals. Our last match into the semifinals, we have Yuma Aoki, Daichi Hashimoto, and Yuki Inoue. They take on Yuki Ishikawa, Harashima, and Masashi Takeda. I thought this match was like holding my breath on this one because I didn't know who's going to go because they're fantastic wrestlers, especially on both sides. I mean, Yuma Aoki, he is a fantastic competitor in all Japan. Of course, Yuki Inoue, who's also a rising star in DDT, but their opponents are two of them. I seen them on various occasions, but Arashima from DDT. But in this case, it was Yuki Inoue with his finisher that finished off, what's his name? Ishikawa to give them the win. So they advance into the finals. Now we took one last match before we head out to the finals. There was a normal match. We have Drew Parker, um, RSP, Konosuke Takeshita, and Karanori taking on Azuma Yoshi, Takuhito Kato, Kazumi Kakuta, and Yuji Akabayashi. I had a feeling this one was going to go into Drew, RSP, Karanoi, and of course Konosuke Takeshita. For some odd reasons, because as you know, Takeshita is now becoming the big international wrestler now since he's doubling back and forth with DDT and AEW. And I figured it was going to end with him winning the match when he applied a knee strike onto um I forgot who it was. I forgot who it was that he gave a knee strike, but he gave them the win. So pretty good. I liked it. Now, as for our final of the tournament, we have of course Yuki Aoki, Yuko Miyamoto, and Mao taking on Yuki Inoue, Yuma Aoki, and Daichi Hashimoto. So awesome match. I was like very impressive how this is going to go. It could have gone either or, but it was of course a DDT by Hashimoto on onto onto Mao. They gave them the win, so they win this year's tournament of the Taishi Ware Shuffle 6-man tag team tournament. So I don't know what's the prize they get, but I'm sure they're going to enjoy it. So this is the last show of that particular of 2022. So now I can focus on the events of 2023. So I think we'll just leave it as that, but let's just move on with our final thing, which is news updates. Okay, so let's get started with some news updates here. Now, as you know, I've been reviewing about, or should I say, telling who will be in this year's WrestleCon. Well, apparently there's some names I might have missed, so I'm here to make that up for everybody. So here's who's going to be showing up as a guest for this year's WrestleCon. We have John Morrison, or as we know him as Johnny Nitro, not Johnny Mundo, Johnny Game Changer, however you want to call him. I always like to call him Johnny Multiple, along with his wife, Taya Valkyrie, will also be there as well. Daga will also be there as well. We have, who else is going to be there? Oh, yeah, Juice Robinson, um, the Boogeyman, Carlito, and Jake Roberts. So those are the ones who so far I did not know they're going to be there, but I'm excited for to hear that they're going to be there. Um, I'm still waiting on to see if there's any more, but I'll keep you guys apprised on that. Now, relation to WrestleCon, as you know, I did mention WrestleCon and Tokyo Pro Wrestling have seems like they decided to partner up because, as you know, Tokyo Pro Wrestling will be coming to America on the 31st of March, which kind of is strange that we have, of course, on that same day we have Ring of Honor and SmackDown. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see three promotions on the same day. But however, they said there's a lot of speculation for the future of the show. There is the possibility now if you guys are planning to attend the show, they did say there's a possibility of a meet and greet. So if there is, I'll let you guys know because I feel like I know some of you are dying to meet some of the Joshi wrestlers from Tokyo Pro. So we'll see what happens then. Now for our GCW updates here, we have of course matches that have been set coming up. As you know, this coming weekend we have the Don't Talk to Me. We have Jordan Oliver taking on the future legend Kenny Morton, Kerry Morton, the son of Ricky Morton. That's going to be killer. Then, of course, on the 5th of March, we have the Ransom Show, which is one of the 2-day shows that they're going to have in Atlantic City. They announced the debut of none other than the Motor City Machine Guns. Yes, so they're going to be there. It's going to be exciting. I wouldn't be surprised if they gun for the tag titles. And then finally, we have the Worst Behavior Show that's going to take place in Toronto on the 19th of March. We're going to have Masha Slamovich who will make her appearance there. So letting you guys know on that. Now, as you know, we have the JCW J Cup coming up real soon on February 11th. As you know, they have already announced the competitors who will be in the J Cup. I already did previously announced who will be in the opening round. Our next match in the opening round will be none other than Commander versus Aris. So that's going to be interesting. Now, you may have heard the interesting developments with NXT UK star Jinny. Now, if you guys have been aware, I did mention that Jinny recently got married to Gunther, which was kind of surprising. But many fans probably ask, is Jinny going to return to wrestle? Well, she did stated that she took a long, hard decision to make her decision on this since she got injured. Appears that she's no longer going to be doing in-ring work, but it seems that she's still under contract with WWE. It's still unclear what role should be taking place. I know that she was supposed to have been doing like something with the British network or something like that, representing like for WWE. It's still unclear yet on that, but hopefully we'll get more on that. And I think it's gonna be interesting to see what role she can be. I wouldn't be surprised if she makes the move to the US since Gunther is right now over there. Now, recently, as you guys know, I've been talking about this Twitter page called Dark Pure Russo. They've been recently been in contact with Kota Ibushi, and they had a real interesting talk. They gave him this one question. I feel like I want to share this with everybody, with all of you to see this, show what's been going on. This is the question they said. Regarding your martial arts rehab, would you like to compete in martial arts events? This is what he answers. About martial arts, I'm completely rehabbing by using that. It's not like I have to MMA matches, but there are times during which I am doing a shoot style wrestling. That's the kind of thing like that, like Bloodsport in America, for example. It would be useful when I am wrestling matches of that style. So it appears like they're asking him would he use that particular style to in wrestling in certain aspects. He seems like it kind of he uses that as a way to rehab, but I'm not sure. He's like considering maybe to do something like what Bloodsport did. You know, if you guys ever seen the Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, that's one of the key things they talked about. Now, interesting development happened this past weekend. You may have heard the interesting thing that took place at a Pro Wrestling Noah autograph signing session. Out of the blue, unannounced, Los Ingorbenables de Japón, consistent of Naito, Shingo, Hiromu, Bushi, and Sanada, they decided to pop up into Pro Wrestling Noah and all this other stuff. However, this is a way for Naito. He's the kind of person who doesn't like to start a fight. He likes to get under people's skin. That's always been his MO. So, however, he purchased a Congo shirt and he went to a table. But hearing that Naito and the rest of LIJ showed up, Keno, who has a hot temper, did not like what he's hearing. However, Naito did ask them nicely if he could sign his shirt, which they did. I'm sure it seems like embarrassing for them to do that, but Naito, he's not there to fight. I'm sure he's there to get under his skin. Naito is that type of person who likes to do that. He's done it before. He's done it with Minoru Suzuki. He's done it with Will Ospreay. He's done it with everybody. So, but however, in the aftermath of this little thingy that took place, Keno has called out Naito as a criminal because he did not have a ticket to be in there. So he is now saying he owes 25,000 yen. That's about $195.27 in American. So I don't know if Naito is going to be paying for that much money for that, but I thought it was very interesting. So I will put that video on the description so you guys get to see it, because you can tell, even though you cannot tell what they're saying because they're speaking in Japanese, but you can tell by the body language. You know, that's what you can tell. So check it out. Now, our last update here, this is a very interesting. I did mention on the last episode where I put out the news updates that a Marvelous star Takumi Iroha will be making her presence next month for the Spanish promotion from Spain, RCW. However, a lot of people questioned about will she be okay by the time, because as you know, I think it was in October or November, Takumi got injured. Um, Apparently, she was recovering and she's been in rehab. But we do have official statement from the boss herself. Um, what's her name? I think it was Nagayo. Hold on, let me pull it up. I know I have it because yeah. Okay, here's what she said. Takumi Iroha was injured her collarbone as it been absent since October 25th, 2022. Since then, she's been recovering from injury. She has finished her rehab and now started doing rehab training. She was offered to fight in Barcelona, Spain on February 18th. Before, constantly we talked to her doctor about it. The doctor told us she can fight. After this fight, she needs rehab and conditioning training then. She would fight for an event early March. We apologize to make you worry about her injury. She will be back stronger the better. She really appreciates for your great support and kindness, understanding. Um, Shiguza Nagayo. So there you have it. So basically, people were concerned because, like I said, she was injured last October of 2022. They weren't sure if she was 100%, even though they managed to talk to her doctor, asking if she'll be okay by then. But as you know, because as soon as they are done with the rehab, they have to do rehab training. Apparently, she may have to do that as soon as she's done. So as soon as she's finished with this particular match in RCW, she has to go back into rehab to get herself better and trained. And it's good news that she will be making her return to the ring in early March. So if you guys are big Marvelous fans out there, you've been hearing all this, so you guys should be happy that she will be making her way back. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm very happy that she's going to be better, and I'm sure she's going to reclaim her title once she gets better. I'm sure she's going to work her way back up. So, oh yeah, and I forgot. I wouldn't be surprised if Unagi calls her out. We got to keep an eye on that. So I think that's pretty much it right now with our news updates. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Sorry I had to keep it little with two reviews. I will do more. There's still some stuff from starting early this year of 2022. I will basically wing it for everyone because I'm sure I will catch up with everything that's been happening. I know for a fact we do got the AEW Dark Elevation for today. That is the one where I attended. So I will be releasing the video of that as a bonus, possibly after it comes out. So we'll see about that because I'm really excited to give my thoughts of the match itself since I was there witnessing uh, in real time. But we'll just leave it as that. I think that's pretty much it. So I like to say I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.